object, a circle, and I don't think they rotate. Somebody told me about Jupiter rotating, and I said, well, what about, could there possibly be a red translucent object that's going across it instead of it spinning? Oh, I never thought of that. But there are other things up there we're not being told about.
Yeah. So what does the Earth being flat change?
Well, it changes a lot.
Well, I mean, like, does it change like the physics of the world right now?
It could. It could change some things in physics.
Like
it
what,
could. Well, I have a funny story. I was up in Jim Thorpe. I don't know if you know where Jim Thorpe is. It's a vacation town up in Pennsylvania. Okay. And this woman and her family were coming by, and they were laughing. And I said, well, what are you laughing at? Well, I have a physics degree. I'm there, really? Come back here and I'll discuss it with you and I'll debate you. So then they turned around and came back. She told me the Pacific Ocean was higher than the Atlantic Ocean. I said, no, that's not true. Oh, the Panama Canal. I said, yeah, but it goes back down. So how could somebody like that, a master's in physics, not know something like simple?
Yeah.
You know, like what happens down at the bottom of South America? What are they? It rushes all towards the Atlantic? I mean, how? So there's some disconnects. There's some disconnects.
Guess what the creators of the Matrix are? Do you know that they're two brothers? They're not twins, and they're now women.
Huh? Is the Matrix connected to this too?
He gets into these other things.
Okay.
But yeah.
Because I just heard Matrix going around.
So I want to know what this one.
Well, does that mean
this is an experiment?
This is my favorite one.
This is a video, and you can go on and look this up.
Yeah.
And he did an experiment with crepuscular rays. This is reality. We see crepuscular rays.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But look, he took this and he made it straight. Yeah. Or crepuscular, and it's like how close is the sun?
Okay, so the sun is really close.
Sun is really close.
Why does that matter?
Hang on 1 second, Brad. Yeah, what's up? Give me 1 second, everybody.
Well, I mean, this is the sun.
Like, how does this affect my life? Like, I'm just gonna go to class.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, so the sun is close. It's part of the line. When they say it's 93 million miles away, that's all part of the globe lie.
Right, so
do you know these people here worship the sun? Do you know there are sun worshippers? Ra.
I mean, I can assure you, Ra.
Really? What is he? Do you know what's on that chain?
I can't really see it. It's not
Make sure you take a good close look at what he wears.
Okay.
And oh, did you see his viewing the auditorium where he sits in a chair, behind him there's this big statue, big sculpture, and did you ever see that? It's a serpent. The way the glass, the eyes, the windows are, and the way it's shaped.
I haven't seen it.
Look that up. That'll freak you out.
What is it?
It's the Pope's viewing room or something. It's new. It's a new structure.
So, you know how you say that they can fool us, they can rule us?
They can fool us, yeah?
And they say that the earth is round.
Okay.
So why would they even come up with, like, the earth is round?
Well, they do worship the sun, so they want everything to go around the sun. And then they can just mess with us.
They?
The people who are in control. Who's in control? Did you know the Federal Reserve Bank is not part of our government? Did you know that there's like 6 families who own the banking system in the world? Did you know that they made up lies to get all the control of all these countries? Did you know that in the Middle East, we're going over there to war to install a central bank in the countries that are not yet controlled? Did you know Syria and Iran are the last 2? Did you know that's why we send our boys to get killed for a bank?
I thought it was for oil.
Even that's bad enough.
Yeah, but I guess
we don't need oil. There is no shortage of oil. It's a renewable resource. When you look into oil, it's not what they say it is.
Do you believe in dinosaurs, that they existed?
I think there was something in ancient writings. There was something called a behemoth that had a tail as big as a cedar tree. So there was some sort of large animals. I don't think it was like Jurassic Park, though. I think that's different.
I researched, and there were dinosaurs, but it wasn't as
Look on the back. Here, you can have your own.
not so long ago that.
Yeah. Just look into this.
Well, yeah, and the Earth, the grand scheme of Earth, like dinosaurs.
Hey, are you guys like actually serious, or is this like a Jonathan Swift kind of satire thing?
No, do you know anything about this at all?
Yeah, that the Earth isn't flat. So I was just checking.
No, do you know any of the science behind it?
Yeah, I mean, it's
What?
It's been
Why don't
for-
then you go to the banner and tell me what you know?
Tell me why the Earth is flat.
Okay, will you be open-minded and just listen and not laugh?
I'll do what I can. I can't make
Okay,
any promises.
okay, come over here. This is a flat Earth map. It's in the Boston Library. It's called the Gleason's Azimuthal Equidistant Map. Okay? All these world organizations use the flat Earth map. But they leave off Antarctica. This is United Nations. They leave off Antarctica. I don't think they want you to know that it goes around the outside. So, here is, if there is a sphere, there has to be a formula for how far out and how far down the drop is, right? This is the formula we have, and we figured it out by doing this, okay? So take a picture and then check the math. Don't just believe me. So we see Chicago right there. Can you see it? That's 60 miles of Lake Michigan. That is not a mirage. We proved that it was a true picture. Okay? Water is always flat on the top. And don't bring up a test tube. I'm talking about reality here. So this is Antarctica. That's holding in the water because it goes all the way around the outside edge. That's as far as I go. What's beyond that, I can't tell you.
That's a pretty crucial part of what you're saying, though.
No, it's not. I'm telling you about flat Earth, period.
Then why wouldn't
Now you're arguing with me, and I didn't even get past the first 3 columns.
That's problematic.
You're
though,
arguing.
isn't it?
Okay, so you're not open-minded to hearing anymore. See you later.
Just saying. If,
Goodbye.
If your
Goodbye.
hypothesis can't stand up to like 2 seconds, 2 minutes of explanation.
No, it stands up.
Explanation of how the Earth is round.
Yeah, you can't do that either.
May I ask a personal
Sure.
question?
Sure.
Have you traveled outside of the U.S.?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I've been to Scotland.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Cool. I just wanted to know.
yeah.
Thank you.
I've been in an airplane. My dad was a pilot.
Oh, nice.
So if Antarctica is the end of the...
That's as far as I teach. I don't go past any kind of explanations.
Well, I always thought the Earth was flat too.
It makes sense, doesn't it?
I really do. Especially when the Bible says the four corners of the Earth.
Yeah.
And people tend to explain that away. Oh, it's symbolic. No, God said what He said, and He meant what
Yeah.
He said. And,
I think so too.
Yeah, I always thought it was flat, and I thought the pictures of NASA were lies. Because I have.
It took me a long time. I was 2.5 years ago. I'm 62 now.
Oh.
I'm there. It took my whole life. I felt it was stolen from me.
I don't even think we
It
went
hurt
to
me.
space.
When they started talking about evolution, I remember being 8 years old thinking, no, God created, it's not evolution. And it's like, oh.
Can I ask a question?
Do you think we've been to space or not?
No, I think there's a dome.
Yeah.
I don't think we can go past a dome.
Right, okay.
Wait, I don't.
A dome above us, a crystalline dome. It's talked about in ancient literature. And there's something called lightning sprites. Look that up, like the soft drink, S-P-R-I-T-E. Lightning sprites, and you can see the dome. It comes off the dome. So look that up. The other thing about stars, look up star in a jar. Sound waves projected into a jar of fluid, a light will form. And God spoke, didn't He? And that's what created. God spoke and it happened. The sound waves make things. I mean, I'm not preaching God here. I'm just saying there's something to those ancient writings.
That's why speech, that's why language carries energy. People don't
It does.
understand that.
It does.
It
The
is
rice.
energy.
Did you ever see the rice experiment?
Yes.
Put 3
yes,
jars
I
of
did.
rice,
The
and
3
you
jars
hate the
of
one, and
rice.
it gets. That's so.
But it carries energy.
I know it does. It does.
And just looking at something basically changes it in a nano part.
I love you guys. I love you guys. And so I'm here.
We know you from YouTube, right?
From YouTube?
Yeah.
Maryland Spirit Level.
Well, you don't, right? You know
Did you?
He asked if we could come to Penn State Abington.
Penn State Abington? Absolutely. Absolutely.
He said when.
Leave a message on one of my videos and I will come. Thank you. Thank you.
Why would they like tell us that the earth is round? Like what's...
Well, if they can fool us, they can rule us. So it's about control. They want us to deny our senses and not question them. So if you say something's 93 million miles away, are you going to question that? Because you can't prove it. So they make everything bigger and, you know, like unimaginable. It's kind of scary.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why they do it. And we don't question it. We're 5 years old when we first see the ball.
True.
I mean, who's going to stand up to their kindergarten teacher? Really?
Yeah. That is true.
Sure.
How do you explain seasons if they're...
Seasons?
Yeah.
Okay. Right here. This is the equator. This is Cancer. And that's Capricorn. They're different sizes than on the globe. They're different sizes. They have to be. It's like opening up the bottom and flattening it out. So this is smaller, but this one's larger. The sun is on a circuit. The Book of Enoch talks about that. That's why they took it out. And it travels around, and then it moves into the equator, goes around there, then it goes in further to the Cancer. It moves. The sun is moving above our plane. The sun is moving above our plane. The plane is stationary because of these experiments here that we're not taught about. The plane is stationary, does not move. The sun does the moving.
Day and night. How is that? How is it night on one side and then...
Because the sun is not 400 times bigger than the earth. The sun is more like a flashlight, and it's pointing down and it illuminates where it is. But when it's that far away, it's dark. It can't illuminate. You take a flashlight, you can do that. We can't see it because of perspective. Right here, things disappear because of perspective.
Well, let me ask you, when you say, I know they want to control us, what do you think that the ultimate control plan is?
I think it's the New World Order, and they want to have all of us in high-density cities and areas, and they want to own all the resources so they can really make us all more slaves than we are now. We are all working for the man, for the system.
Do you believe, like there are principalities at work in high places?
Yeah. Okay, and I usually don't get into this discussion, but because you brought it up, this is demonic.
Right.
Yes, absolutely.
And God said that it has to come to pass.
Yes,
it has to come
it does.
To pass.
But you know what?
What?
We have a job on this earth, and that is to tell the truth.
Right.
And to go where angels fear to tread and all that.
Right.
So that's why I'm here doing this. I want to wake up as many people and take them with me.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Sorry,
Hi!
He said he believes you. He asked if he fills out a contact form on the website.
Yes, yes, yes. And I will do a private presentation too.
Okay.
So whatever.
Oh, there we go.
He said he loves you.
Love you. Thank you for that.
I noticed you're trying to say the earth is flat, yet you have a globe sitting right there.
I do. Yeah, for demonstration. So I can demonstrate the curvature formula. Yeah. Would you like to look any of this up?
I'm just gonna...
Take a picture. Take 10 pictures. Look up the video and think for yourself. Always think for yourself.
I am thinking.
Okay.
And I'm thinking you are high.
I know. I wish I were, but I'm not. I don't drink or smoke.
My channel is Zoom Truth. If anybody wants to watch this.
What is it? Where is this being
Zoom
streamed
Truth.
to?
Zoom Truth is my
To
channel.
Is that
YouTube.
where it's being streamed? On YouTube?
Yeah, I got like, I'm up to like a few thousand, 4,000 or 5,000.
Yeah.
Wait, where will this go though? Like,
One of my
will it go
videos
to
had
flat Earth?
200,000 views when video
No,
release gave me the
Zoom
big
truth.
because this guy named Max Millionaire, he
Frank?
no.
Is this getting put on flat Earth or
Please tell me this is a joke.
Zoom truth. Zoom truth.
This is going?
Yeah.
Okay, the clouds got
There's so
darker.
many websites.
Guess God's just warming up the lightning.
See, some people are just, they can't think outside of it. And that's okay.
I've always been drawn to the outside, to really thinking things.
Yeah.
And I think my spirit is in tune
That's important. Yeah. Yeah.
like they say, things are more, what you can't see is more real than what you do see.
Yeah.
Like how people see this and they think this is it.
Yeah, it's not. I know.
No one's entitled to
It's scary.
I appreciate you stopping and talking to me because that's encouraging to me.
No, but I bet you people are impressed with you
lot of
guys,
us
man.
out here that do
And I'm trying to find them.
take it easy.
Thank you.
The older we are, man, the older people, man, they get tripped out. Man, I had people yell at me to get in my face, and they'll be like, "What are you an idiot?"
Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Yeah.
Thanks.
Why get angry about it? I feel like everybody just immediately goes right into anger mode. It's not worth it. It's like,
Good. Yeah, it's quite good.
have you ever seen like I forget what his name is, but it's a series called Change My Mind.
Yeah, I heard of that. I heard of
I
that.
don't remember the guy's name, but he sets up a booth and it's like an informative discussion.
There is no curvature to the earth. Look it up. Figure it out. Figure it out. Use your brains. Use your brain. Use your brain. Come on. Come back here, buddy. Come back here. Come here. There's no curvature to the earth. Figure it out. Sorry. Here, you can have your own card.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, it's gone? Oh, so I did lose it. Oh, we are back. Okay. Yeah. Oh, it's a new one. Probably, yeah. Sorry. Anyway, yeah, I don't know how to do that. I need a bigger battery or something. So, no, I love talking about this, and I love that you guys, because seriously, if you
It's like,
look
why
into
bring
this,
anger into it? You know what I mean? Like, if I'm going to stop you,
Take a picture.
All you need to know, the earth is flat. Alright, me
That's
and my
right.
homeboys, we all hang out together. The earth's flat. It's been flat since the day I died. I was born here. It's flat as fuck, dude. Literally, if we're talking about a 180-degree surface, alright? It just is one level. There's nothing in. There's no end. There's no beginning. It's flat. All the things in the space, that's a lie. The government's a lie.
Yep.
Earth is flat. Everything the government
That's right.
says is a lie.
It is. It's true.
yeah, we gotta
Yeah,
spread
dude,
the word.
yeah, me and my cousin got the rest, so we do good.
All right.
I'm just worried that
Yo,
Did you ever look into this? Did you ever look into it at all? Oh, really? What'd you watch? Or
Oh, I believe in science, so...
yeah, this is science right here. Lying to children is child abuse, so be very careful what you teach your kids. Be very careful. You can look it up. Take a picture. Lying to children is child abuse. Yes, it is.
Thank you so much, guys. Peace.
Children all the time. Are you kidding?
That's true. But for me personally, no, this photo here, guys.
Take a picture.
According to spherical geometry, they tell us that you should not be able to, that there should be 1,700 feet of Earth curvature over a distance of 50 miles. This was taken over 50 miles across Lake Michigan, right? The tallest building in Chicago is going to see the tower. This one.
Okay, don't bring that camera over here.
You want this? Okay.
And the only problem is the guy got in the boat. He rented a boat. His name was Rob Stevens. He took his video camera with him, and he videotaped that mirage from over 50 miles across the lake. And then he drove across the lake with the videotape until the city was right in front of him.
Well, in that case, if according to your theory, wouldn't you have fallen off by
No, it's just a lake. It's not the edge. That's not. We're not talking about the edge of the boat. But now, what happens? Sorry.
So what do y'all say about the rising sea?
The rising sea. I don't really know much about that.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't.
I mean,
Well, most of the predictions that they have out there are probably too low by a far amount.
Okay.
It might raise by 2050 or the end of the century, I don't remember which. It might be up 11 feet.
And why do you think that is? Why is it rising?
Because there's a ice shelf on Antarctica that's getting ready to break off. Plus all of Greenland's melting.
I wonder why they're doing that.
What's that?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. They are controlling some of the weather. I know that. They are doing that.
Okay.
But I don't know why they would want the...
What? Yeah.
He's an old dog.
She's an old.
She's an old dog.
She's a half terrier, half horse.
Half terrier.
She eats apples and grass.
Yeah. My dog likes carrots.
Yeah, well, she does too. She eats almost anything except lettuce.
Have you ever looked into the flat Earth?
No.
You ought to. Yeah, you could. There's some videos
YouTube.
down there.
Oh, you're on YouTube too?
Yes, sir, I am.
All right, I'll have to look up YouTube. See
Okay. Yep, I'm on there.
That's where I get a lot of my info.
Yeah.
Basically, Miami's already sinking.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
All of Florida's going to be underwater again. All right, catch you later.
Thank you.
Just because God decided to flip pancakes.
There's no curvature. Look it up. There's no curvature. Look it up.
Well, the thing is that we know grass Tyson. I brought this up to every.
There's no curvature to the Earth. Look it up.
No, they asked him, what is gravity? He says, what gravity is? He goes, we don't know.
The video's at the bottom. Look it up.
So we say that water sticks to a spinning ball because of gravity, and yet we don't even know what it is. Huh, what a surprise, right?
Bro, I need whatever weed you're smoking, bro.
I need to get my hands on that. What crazy shit. Can you tell me what gravity is? Because Neil deGrasse Tyson says he doesn't know.
He doesn't know. He doesn't know.
Look it up, guys. It's on YouTube. If you do what gravity is, I don't know.
We don't know what it is, but we know that
he said it, that means it's right.
Nobody knows.
Information from YouTube.
There's no curvature to the Earth. Look it up. There's no curvature. Look it up. There's no curvature. Look it up.
Earth is flat.
No, it is flat. Amen.
I don't know anything about gravity. That's what I'm saying. I don't.
There's no curvature. Look it up. There's no curvature to the Earth.
She just asked a question, right? She said if you spin a bucket, right, the water stays in the bucket, right? But isn't it interesting that the container of the bucket is the portion that's holding the water in? What container is holding our water?
There's no curvature. It is. Look it up. You never looked into it. There's no curvature. Look it up.
No, seriously. Bucket to hold the water in. Because if the bucket had a hole in the bottom of it, and you spin it,
There's no curvature. Take a picture and look it up. Good.
I agree. There's no evidence to point to gravity. We cannot see gravity, we cannot feel gravity. No. But your argument is coming from the body.
Sure.
No, not solely. I was an atheist before I got into this stuff. Only a year and a half ago, man. It's crazy.
Look,
I agree, man.
I'm a Christian.
When I first started, like, you guys are so much more open-minded than me.
1:30.
Fine with me. Because if I would have seen a lunatic like myself 2 years ago, I would just point my finger at the guy and laugh and say, okay. That's how smart you are.
Yes, the Bible said God created night and day.
100%.
What side of the earth it is?
Dude, somewhere. Alright, guys. There's so many videos. There's so many videos of NASA astronauts being caught in lies. It's terrible. But one of the latest ones. Guys, one of the lies. But like on the ISS, ISS astronauts glitch, you should see 3 3 astronauts, and they're towards the end of the live stream, where they're showing the astronauts in space. 3 astronauts look like they disappeared, like on Star Trek. They disappear, but the background stays the same. But not only does the background stay the same, there are other objects in the scene that were floating around. Any of those objects, they also
Okay, I've had enough fun, but this is the part where I back away slowly.
Wait, I don't know.
Yes.
I haven't seen that video.
All right, there's another one. Check this. Oh no, but that's why you have. Dude, right. There's so many more. What can I tell you? All right, here, you guys. Do you want me to go into La La Land with you guys? All right, this is La La Land. When I was young, when I was a junior in high school.
You guys ever look into this at all?
Yeah, I looked into the horizon, saw it.
Yeah? And then what?
And then I walked that way. I walked all the way around the Earth.
Do you know the horizon's
spot.
always at your eye level?
Yeah.
Even if you're in a plane or Mount Everest, it's always at your eye level.
You know another thing?
Yeah.
You know how you pour water onto like a branch?
Oh yeah, and then it falls all the way off.
Yeah, that won't happen if the Earth was round. It has to be flat.
That's
plate.
true.
You pour water on the plate, it stays there. That's how flooding happens.
Yeah, but plates aren't flat. Why do you
Ignorance
think
is bliss. You know that. Not knowing something, you can be happy.
Yeah.
But when you know the truth, you have to really think about it. And you have to make decisions like a man. And you have to say, I'm not going to put up with the lies.
At least the moon landing was fake. I'll agree with you on that.
Okay, time to go.
You never landed on the moon. You can't land on it.
Yeah.
No, if you look at it in the daytime, it's blue. The backside is blue. You can see through it. It's like a filament. And if you look at it at night, you can see stars through it.
Wait, so is the moon flat?
It's only a two-dimensional object that we can see. I never went up there. I don't know if it's a sphere.
So is there a red Tesla flying to Mars right now?
For me.
Do you believe that there is?
I don't know.
Bye. Anybody here who has ever told a lie? Anybody? Okay, super. So now, we got a bunch of liars here, right? So I can't trust none of you. Self-admitted, right? I can't trust them. Now, here's the interesting thing. Prior to me becoming, learning about flat Earth, I was a hardcore atheist. I believed in the Big Bang, I believed in evolution, and I didn't have a need, I couldn't fit a God into the Big Bang. It wasn't compatible. If the Big Bang happened, then nobody created nothing, it's me. This is the way I interpreted it. So upon learning about flat Earth, I learned that in the Bible, there's quite over 200 verses that refer to flat space.
Hi, honey. How are you?
So, by the way, here's
what am I doing? I'm down here at Temple University, talking to kids.
On his tombstone, he refers to Psalms 19.
What are you doing?
If you go to look at Psalms 19-1, the heavens declare the
you
glory
what?
of God, and the firmament show it his handiwork. Anybody here know what the
Okay, you're at practice.
Don't.
Okay, love you. Bye.
In the Bible and in many ancient cultures, they talk about a dome being over our heads, and that I know, bro. This is crazy. Why would the head of an astronaut talk about a dome over his head on his street? He's talking about how they're used to this religious game.
Yorktown? Oh, come on.
All right. So hot. He's a German and he's making fun of him. See, I found it a little interesting, but I can interpret it that way. I'm not going to argue. But there's plenty verses in the Bible. But my point is that to me, I became born again. I can't believe I say this. Like, I literally cannot believe I'm saying this stuff. Like, it's insane. It's like the most insane thing that I never would expect that in a million years. Like, a million. So anyway, I'm saying it now. Born again Christian as of May of last year. So the point being is that we learned from God the 10 Commandments. Just the 10 Commandments. One of them being you're not supposed to be a liar. It's like free at the time.
There's no curvature. You can look this up. You know what this means? There's no fence there. There's just a gate. The sheep don't know that there's no fence. They just are like going along with the herd. That's why that.
I have a flyer?
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Want one? There's no curvature to the earth. You got to look it up. I'm sorry?
Can you tell me more about your theory?
Sure. Do you want to go up to my banners up there? Because I have all that information on them.
There's flat?
Yes, sir.
How?
Well, there's no curvature.
does that mean?
There's a curvature formula. If there's a sphere, then it goes out and it goes down. And there has to be a mathematical formula.
Right.
So we think it's 8 inches times the miles squared. So when you apply that,
8 inches times a mile squared is how thick the Earth is?
no, it's the curve. It's the curve of it.
All right.
So you have the curve, and then you go out looking for curvature, and you can't find any. The Suez Canal is 100 miles of flat. There's no curve to it.
Okay.
So you can't find any curvature, especially when there's water involved.
Right.
And like the Bonneville Salt Flats, you know, that was created by a salt lake that dried up. So it should have curvature, but it doesn't.
What inspired you?
How do people go to space?
Get involved in
What
this
does,
research?
Well,
what does the Earth look like on the moon? Just flat?
I don't know. You can't land on the moon. No, you can't. Look through the moon today. Next time the moon is out during the day, look through it. It's blue.
Blue?
Yeah, the back of it's blue. And at nighttime, you look through it and you see stars. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so there was supposedly 6 inches of dust on the moon, right?
You're right.
So how come there's no dust on the aluminum foil? On the foil. This is all aluminum foil. Gold foil. There's no dust on the landing pads.
Looks like a bad picture to me.
There's no crater underneath of it from the landing.
Is that your website, Zoom Truth?
That's his. Mine's different.
Can we take a picture together?
Is that so?
Me
Like,
and
I
oh, you
personally
and
am very
oh,
interested in, like,
how
the more of the
cute.
like minutia of human suffering.
Cool. Yeah, thank you.
And like the day-to-day interactions, and I feel like flat Earth, regardless of whether or not it's true,
Hey,
I feel like
hey, buddy, wait. Yoo-hoo!
So I feel like, so why is this something that you have like thrown your whole life into?
There's no curvature to the Earth. Look it up. Figure it out.
He says if there's 1,000 minutes.
Figure it out. There's no curvature. Go find some.
Striking at the root, right? This flat Earth perception is the root to me because through it, I became born again. But I'm not even saying you have to become a Christian or anything. Who knows? I'm sorry? No, you don't think it was great? No. That's fine. I want you, I'm sorry, I want you to continue. So for me, the root of this problem is especially people, men, us. I don't like calling us humans anymore because I think that's not a good term. But men, living men who
Did you know that the horizon is always at your eye level? Even if you're in a plane or on top of Mount Everest. It's always at your eye level. That's because of perspective. That's because of perspective.
Fundamentally a little bit disconnected.
I think you need to change your diet. Your brain's not working.
So, anyway, I don't know. I'm not here to convince anybody.
There's no curvature to the Earth. Figure it out yourself.
Intuitively always wondered, like, how does the sun on an Earth, and we know that the water has to curve. Every inch of the water has to have a curve to it.
So where's the edge of the Earth?
And that there's actually a formula for it.
That's it. That's Antarctica. Look.
And then it just drops?
I don't know. I've never been there. You?
No.
No. So here we got North Pole. Antarctica goes all the way around the outside edge.
So if you get to an edge, it falls? What happens?
I don't know. Who knows what even huge is huge.
We aren't allowed down there. Ever since the Antarctic exploration in 1958, Admiral Byrd went there, they closed it off. Now you're not allowed back there. He kept losing airplanes. He lost more than a dozen airplanes because they were crashing into something they couldn't see.
No, I don't think
that we think is the dome. You can look at the dome by looking up lightning sprites. You know the soft drink Sprite? Lightning sprites. You look up videos on that, you'll see the dome.
Dome around the flat Earth?
You laughing? I'm telling you to look up lightning sprites.
I'm just wondering.
Look up lightning sprites.
This is like The Simpsons, right?
Look up lightning sprites, and you will see it. They mock us every chance they get. Yes, The Simpsons, they mock us. They don't want us to think about this or go there, so we don't go places where we get laughed at.
Who's us?
Humans. You and me. But you know what? I go where the angels fear to tread, so to speak. I don't care if you laugh at me.
But you haven't been there.
I don't care if you laugh at me because I'm going to tell you the truth whether you listen or not. I want you to look it up yourself. So, there's a curvature formula.
So space
if there's a curve, however far out you go, it has to drop.
What about the space station? It's not a real thing.
There's your space station. We have a video called Bubbles in Space. Air bubbles going up the helmet. How does that happen?
What about like Elon Musk? What is SpaceX?
You think there's a Tesla car in space now? Come on now, come on.
SpaceX is in space.
No.
It is.
No, that's got to be the most ridiculous thing, that Tesla car in space. Come on.
Earth's flat.
Well, tell me why United Nations has a logo of the flat Earth map. Then you tell me, you laugh at them. You laugh at them. They leave off Antarctica. They don't want you to know it goes around the outside edge.
What they did is look at North America here. You guys see it?
That's NASA. All different sizes. You look up NASA website. Look it up.
I don't know, man. They're like, those are the official images of the Earth. So there's a guy named Rob Simmons.
There's no curvature to the Earth. Look it up.
That's correct. Where they're, so you would hope that they would try to at least keep ratios, in similar fashion, but they don't. The fact is that there's a guy named Rob Simmons who works for NASA, and he was like, well, it's Photoshop because it has to be.
That's what he says. That's what he says.
Do you have the photo? There's photos of Earth where they literally stamped clouds, and they were so lazy, they used the same cloud in different spots.
Yeah.
And you can see it clear as day. So why did they have to put, now they're making up fake clouds on you?
Because they mock us. This is all we know. All we know is Antarctica.
How do we know?
We can't go past that.
Listen, condemnation, right, before investigation. Here, let me grab one. Condemnation before investigation. Ignorant. I was ignorant until, no, I'm serious. And you know what ignorance means?
Well,
it just means you don't know.
the planets used to be called wandering stars.
Oh, well.
When we look through a telescope, all we see is a two-dimensional object.
So you're saying all the things in the sky are also
We don't know.
You don't know.
We don't know. But that's all we can see. Now, I talked to two astronomers who said they could see Jupiter rotating. And I said, what if there was another object? Because they said the red spot moved from the left to the right, and that meant it was rotating. So I said, well, what if there's another object there, like a translucent red disc that was moving across? Well, I never thought of that. Did you know that there are other objects up there that we can't see, and they're not telling us about them?
You might do that for 6 months before you
Yes,
decide who it is.
there are.
Nobody.
Rahu, Ketu are two that are named in ancient texts. Okay, so there was also an airplane that went up to film an eclipse, and this one guy caught 5 of them.
You just built a rocket. You just don't know
So-
that you're going to go to space.
So is there like video proof of that?
Yeah.
So, am I saying
Is it
that?
online?
Yeah.
Do you know the video title?
But
I don't know the title of it.
When you watch enough,
But you may have to type in flat Earth because that gets you other information. Other information. It's not like general Google, they won't give you that.
And they were literally saying that that's what they
So
saw.
you got to look into other stuff, alternative.
Getting through.
Did you get one of these?
I did. There's that saying, like,
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you for stopping.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm good. How are you?
Doing well.
Did you get one of these?
No, not yet.
You can have one.
Awesome. Thank you. I just have a question. Can you explain like lunar eclipses?
Well, I think, like I was just telling that guy, there are other orbs up there in the heavens that we're not being told about, and I think they interfere with what's going on. Okay. So I talked to 2 astronomers, and they say that Jupiter rotates because you see the red spot go from left to right. And I said, well, what if it's another orb that has a red coloration that's translucent? And he said that could possibly be. You have to have an open mind and think that there's other possibilities. When there was an airplane that went up and filmed the eclipse, and one guy caught 5 orbs that are up there, and they were not reflections off the lens. So you have to think, well, what could it possibly be? And so I'm saying that there's other things up there. Did you ever look into this at all?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I definitely think that.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
I don't have
Hi.
very strong opinion.
Hey.
Did you get one of these?
I did not.
Okay.
I would love to take
Did you ever hear of this before?
I did. I've looked into it myself.
And what do you think?
I think it's an interesting perspective.
Yes. That means you have an open mind. That's good.
Yeah.
Don't ever close it up.
Yeah.
And you know the government lies.
Yeah, no doubt.
Everybody knows that, but they believe what the government says. I mean, why believe it if you know they lie? I mean,
then it's really a matter of just investigating things, and you're going to find out.
Do you know? Is there anything on here that you don't know that I can help you explain?
Where you are, it seems like you're
these two.
in terms of,
okay.
And the Star Trek.
Yeah. Well, that's Antarctica. From what we know, that's all we know, and I don't really go past that.
Yeah.
So, because I don't know. But that's what we have pictures of Antarctica.
Okay.
So we think that holds in all the water. Yeah. And you know the Antarctic Treaty. Have you looked into that?
And those are the people.
Well, that is a treaty. Ever since Admiral Byrd went down there and then did all those explorations, they shut it off.
That's what I thought. I did.
So it's closed off, militarily protected.
Yeah.
But our politicians go down there and have ceremonies. What are they doing down there? So, star trails. This is really good. This is reality. You point it at Polaris, you keep your aperture open, and the time will give you concentric circles, okay? That's reality. But then look at this.
And then when you are young and you're learning, what do they do?
That's what they're teaching in the schools.
Yeah. And what do they do?
The sun is moving, and all the planets are going around it, chasing it, and it's going through the universe. So how do you have that and get that? It's not reality. That's not reality.
What's the Coriolis effect?
Coriolis, they say that because the equator, when you have a spinning ball, the equator moves faster than the poles. Okay, so the water is spinning away from the faster moving equator. That's what they say, but it's not true. Because it all depends on how it's made. The toilets and things are how they're made, and the way they drain, the water drains. And it's not reality, Coriolis.
I'm making it up.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it's so rare.
Have you had a lot of people come up today?
A lot. My voice is going. But and a lot of them, they'll walk by and laugh, but that's okay.
What was the moment that made you want to look into this more?
It took me 3 times hearing it before I looked into it. Okay, and I stumbled across it on the internet when I was looking up the moon landing.
Yeah.
Somebody said, we never landed on the moon. I'm there, what? What? I can't be. 2.5 years ago. 2.5 years ago. So the first time I said, nah, that's ridiculous. Second time I heard it, I said, oh, those poor delusional Christians. And I'm a Christian. So then the third time I heard it, I said, if there's something to this, there has to be a working model. So I went looking for a working model, and it made a whole lot more sense than heliocentrism.
Yeah. Everyone knows, like, people used to not believe in heliocentrism.
I know. Everybody used to be a flat earther until they came up with this raw stuff. I mean, really. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your information.
Thank you for stopping. Just look into it. Sure.
I just have one question. So before flat Earth, did you believe in a circular Earth?
I went through the whole public school system. I was a heliocentrist until 2.5 years ago.
Oh, that's what it's referred to as, heliocentrism?
Heliocentrism is our sun-centered model that they're teaching, the globe Earth. That's what they teach.
Okay. All right. And you believe that that is
wrong?
You believe that's discredited by your research?
Yes.
All of
Yes.
So I was going to say, when did you make the switch from heliocentrism?
2.5 years ago, somebody told me that we never landed on the moon, and I said, "What? That can't be."
Yeah.
So I looked into that, and then I kept seeing flat Earth. I'm there. What? What's that? I'm there. Oh. Ridiculous. The second time I heard it, I said, "Oh, those poor delusional Christians." But I'm a Christian. The third time I said, "Okay." Now I had seen also a movie called The Principle, which, huh?
Can I have a few?
Sure, you can.
Thanks.
I saw a movie called The Principle, which is about a geocentric model, but it was still a sphere. But it was a center, and that had a working model. I'm there, wow, that seems a little more logical. And then, so I knew to look for a working model. And the flat Earth model makes a whole lot of sense.
I have 500 people by my side. Yeah, I'm good.
That's it. That makes a whole lot more sense, that the sun moves around on top of us, and it moves and at different speeds depending on the time of year.
So great.
Because people that is outside of the equator, they will say that you can stand in Australia and watch the sun move. It goes so fast.
Yeah.
And there's no like twilight. It just goes sets. Like it's real fast.
Yeah.
So, okay, so there's different people's viewpoints from different parts of the world. So you have to look into that. I would take a picture of this right here and get some of those books and look into those books. I have 2 or 3 of them myself.
Just to reiterate, you started with a heliocentric belief system.
That's what they teach in public school.
And then it went to it wasn't
a geocentric. I saw that The Principle movie, yeah.
And then
now I'm on flat Earth because there's no curvature.
Not even some.
There's no curvature.
Okay.
There's the Suez